Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss UPSC CSC Prelims 2015 economy questions. Starting with the question. The first question we have is Basel III Accord or simply the Basel III is often in the news seeks to. So these Basel III norms were signed and under this we have an agreement that is capital adequacy ratio. And this ratio helps the commercial banks to deal with the situation when they are giving loans to some company or people where is some risk associated with those loans. So अगर बैंक्स को लगता है कि कुछ रिस्क एसोसिएटेड हो सकता है उस पर्टिकुलर लोन से रिलेटेड तो दे नीड टू कीप सम अमाउंट इन द बैंक्स ताकि अगर डिपॉजिटर्स उनके पास मनी लेने के लिए आ जाएं तो वो उस सिचुएशन को डील कर सके ऐसी सिचुएशन में बैंक क्राइसिस में ना जाए इसलिए बेसल 3 नॉर्म्स में कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी रेशियो एक टर्म इंट्रोड्यूस की गई थी so we need to look into the options. First option is develop national strategies for the conservation and sustainable use of the biological diversity. It is not related to the biological diversity. Next is improve banking sector's ability to deal with financial and economic stress and improve risk management. Obviously, this was signed to deal with the risk management. This option is correct. We can see other options also to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. So it is not related to greenhouse gas emissions. Next is transfer technology from the developed countries to the poor countries to enable them to replace the chlorofluorocarbons in refrigeration. It is not related to this also. So B option is correct. Next question is with reference to the Indian economy, consider the following statements. The first is the rate of growth of real GDP has steadily increased in the last decade. So we have real GDP. Let us say it is rupees 100. So for example, it is growing at the rate 6% for the financial year 18-19, then for 1920s 7%, then for 2021 we are assuming it for 4%. So as we can see, there is always some increase in the rate at which it is growing, but the rate of growth is not increasing. It has decreased from 7 to 4. So the rate at which real GDP is increasing, it is not steadily increasing. Rate is not steadily increasing. Real GDP is increasing, but the rate at which it is increasing, it's not steadily increasing. So this option is wrong. Next is the GDP at market price has steadily increased in the last decade. So it is steadily increasing. Only second option is correct. Next is with reference to the Indian economy, consider the following statements. And we need to check that which of the following are the components of the monetary policy of the RBI. So the first bank rate is decided by the RBI. Then open market operations में RBI गवर्नमेंट के लिए कुछ ऑपरेशंस करती है सो दैट जो इंटरेस्ट रेट है मार्केट के अंदर वो रिड्यूस हो जाए ताकि गवर्नमेंट कुछ बॉन्ड्स मार्केट में सेल कर सके मार्केट में अगर कुछ बॉन्ड सेल करने होते हैं गवर्नमेंट को तो आरबीआई हेल्प करती है कि ताकि इंटरेस्ट रेट कम हो जाए ताकि गवर्नमेंट इजीली बॉन्ड सेल कर सके Next is public debt. Public debt is not related to monetary policy. It is a term for fiscal policy. Public revenue is also for fiscal policy. So 1 and 2 only. Next question. With reference to inflation in India, which of the following statements is correct? Controlling the inflation in India is the responsibility of the government of India only. No. It is the responsibility of government of India as well as the responsibility of RBI of India. So the RBI of India has no role in controlling the inflation. Wrong. It is also their responsibility to control. C. Decreased money circulation helps in controlling the inflation. Inflation arises when there is expansion in the economy. There is more money supply in the economy. So the solution to deal with this is to decrease the money circulation in the economy. So the option C is correct. Next is to increase the money circulation. It is opposite. If the money supply has already increased and government or RBI has worked in that direction to increase the money supply further, so it will lead to further expansion. So it is not a good option. So C is the right option. Next, the problem of international liquidity is related to the non-availability of. If we're talking about liquidity, what is the most liquid thing we have is our currency. So may it be Indian rupees for Indians. And if we're talking about some, let us say for US, so US dollar. For Canada, that is Canadian dollar. So the most liquid thing the country have is their currency. So goods and services are not the liquid things. So it is not easy to sell them out and get the money. It needs time. Gold and silver needs time to sell out. Dollars and other hard currencies of any country has liquidity. Exportable surplus needs time. Next is there has been a persistent deficit budget year after year. If the government of any country is facing budget deficit, it means they have lesser amount than the required amount for their budget. Which of the following actions can be taken by the government to reduce the deficit? अगर ऐसी कंडीशन कोई गवर्नमेंट फेस कर रही है तो क्या ऑप्शंस गवर्नमेंट ऑप्ट कर सकती है उस सिचुएशन से बाहर आने के लिए? फर्स्ट इज रिड्यूसिंग रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर. रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर को रिड्यूस कर सकते हैं, यानी गवर्नमेंट अपने एम्प्लॉयज को जो सैलरी दे रही है अगर वो सैलरी को रिड्यूस कर देगी तो दे हैव मोर मनी टू इन्वेस्ट ऑन, लेट अस से they have more money to invest on some project so that employment create होगा. एम्प्लॉयमेंट से मनी सप्लाई इंक्रीज हो जाएगी और मनी सप्लाई इंक्रीज होने से जो डेफिसिट की प्रॉब्लम हो रही है वो धीरे धीरे रिड्यूस हो जाएगी. सो इट रिड्यूसिंग रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर इज अ गुड ऑप्शन. देन इंट्रोड्यूसिंग न्यू वेलफेयर स्कीम्स. अगर वेलफेयर स्कीम्स इंट्रोड्यूस होने लगेंगी तो गवर्नमेंट विल नीड मोर मनी. तो दिस इज नॉट अ गुड ऑप्शन. मोर मनी से तो बजट और ज्यादा डेफिसिट में जाएगा. हमें बजट डेफिसिट से बचाना है. दिस इज नॉट अ गुड ऑप्शन. देन rationalizing subsidies. Then government can choose for rationalizing subsidies so that they can provide that amount of money to some other projects which they are giving as a subsidy only. Next option is expanding industries. It cannot be a good option when government is going in deficit. Their budget is in deficit. So 1 and 3 only. Next, a decrease in tax to GDP ratio of a country indicates what? So if tax to GDP ratio is decreasing, let us say GDP constant है. For example, GDP is constant and हम observe कर रहे हैं कि tax कम है. तो it might be the case that people have not paid the tax. ये केस हो सकता है. अगर ये भी हो सकता है कि इनकम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन यूनिफॉर्म नहीं है. लेट अस से फर्स्ट केस एक है जिसके अंदर जीडीपी कांस्टेंट है एंड जिसमें यूनिफॉर्म डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है इनकम का. तो एवरीवन इज अबव द टैक्सेबल इनकम एंड टैक्स कुछ 10 रुपीज कलेक्ट हो रहा है. नेक्स्ट सिचुएशन है जीडीपी इस तरह से कांस्टेंट है, उतना ही जीडीपी है बट यूनिफॉर्म डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन नहीं है, अनइक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है इनकम का. सो इफ अनइक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होगा देन कुछ पीपल बस टैक्स देने के लिए एलिजिबल है और बाकी बहुत ज़्यादा पीपल है हु आर नॉट पेइंग द टैक्स. सो जिस वजह से अनइक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की वजह से टैक्स कलेक्शन इज ओनली ₹5 बिकॉज वेरी लेस नंबर ऑफ पीपल आर पेइंग द टैक्स. सो दिस not equitable distribution of income lead to a situation of decrease in the tax to GDP ratio. So this is the correct option. Less equitable distribution of the national income. Slowing economic growth rate can be an option. That the economic growth rate is less and that is why tax is less. This is a very common option कि अगर tax कम हो रहा है तो इसका मतलब economy is going in recession, so that is why less tax collection. But irrespective of that, अगर ऐसा भी केस हो सकता है कि tax collection कम हो रहा है but economy की growth अच्छी है. So it is because of key inequality. So both of the option is correct. Next is index of 8 core industries. Which of the following is of the highest weight? So ये एक index NSO release करता है for the industries to show the growth of the industries in the economy. So it takes eight core industry to decide, that is coal, electricity, fertilizers, steel, and various other. So electricity generation has the highest proportion among them. Next question is, the fair and remunerative price of the sugarcane is approved by. So this FRP is decided by the Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices, CACP, but it is approved by the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. It is decided by CACP, and later on the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs will approve the price of sugar canes. It is FRP. Next question is, which are the following issues of the Global Economic Prospect reports periodically? So Global Economic Prospects is reported by the World Bank. Next question, when the Reserve Bank of India reduces the statutory liquidity ratio by 50 basic points, which of the following is likely to happen? अगर SLR का amount 50 basis point कम होता है, let us say it is now and it is reduced to 17.5. SLR वो अमाउंट होता है जो बैंक को अपने पास रखना होता है. सो बैंक के पास लेटर से 100 रुपीज आते हैं, तो जिसमें से बैंक अभी टोटल 100 रुपीज को नहीं लैंड कर सकता है. बैंक नीड टू कीप दैट अमाउंट. सो इस वजह से बैंक 82 रुपीज को ही सिर्फ लैंड कर सकता है. 18% को अपने पास रखना था बैंक को. अब नेक्स्ट केस हो गया कि रिड्यूस हो गया है अगर SLR, तो अगर 100 में से अभी 82.5 को बैंक लैंड कर सकता है. बैंक के लिए ये अच्छा कंडीशन हुआ. किसी ने बैंक में 100 रुपीज डिपॉजिट किए थे, बैंक उसको अगर 10% इंटरेस्ट रेट दे रहा था तो 110 दे रहा था. लेकिन अभी बैंक को 82 रुपीज से 10 रुपीज तो वो लेकर आने थे जो उसको डिपॉजिटर को वापस देने हैं, एंड फिर बैंक की फंक्शनलिटी या बैंक के जो भी पर्सन बैंक में वर्क कर रहे हैं उनकी सैलरी के लिए, तो लेट अस से 10 रुपीज मोर, टोटल 20 रुपीज लेकर आने थे. एंड अभी अगर बैंक के पास 82.5 से यही 20 रुपीज लेके आने हैं, 20 ही रुपीज लाने हैं, यहाँ भी 20 लाने थे, यहाँ भी 20 लाने, तो इंटरेस्ट रेट कम हो जाएगा. बैंक अब जिस इंटरेस्ट रेट पे लैंड करेगा अभी वो कम कर देगा, क्योंकि अभी बैंक के साथ ज्यादा पैसे हैं फिर भी 20 ही लाने हैं, यहाँ पे कम पैसे थे फिर भी 20 लेकर आने थे बैंक को. तो ये हेल्प करेगा कि जो इंटरेस्ट रेट होगा वो कम हो जाएगा बैंक का. ऑप्शंस देखते हैं. इंडियाज जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट इंक्रीजेड ड्रेस्टिकली. तो जो जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट है उस पर सच इम्पैक्ट नहीं दिखाई देगा, मतलब नॉट ड्रेस्टिक इम्पैक्ट. इट विल हैव सम स्लो इम्पैक्ट ऑन द जीडीपी आल्सो, बिकॉज अगर कम इंटरेस्ट रेट पे मनी इजीली अवेलेबल होगा तो पीपल कैन इन्वेस्ट द मनी इन वेरियस industries or other things. It will have impact but not drastic one. Foreign institutional investors may bring more capital into our country. So just 50 basis points cannot have this much impact कि foreign institutional investors will start to bring more capital. Next option is scheduled commercial banks may cut their lending rates. They will cut because now they need same amount of money with the more principal in their hand. So if more principal in their hand, they'll reduce the interest rate. Is it the correct one? It may drastically reduce the liquidity of the banking sector. It will not drastically reduce the liquidity. Liquidity would remain the same. So C is correct. Next question. In India, markets in agriculture products are regulated under the Agriculture Produce Market Committee Act, which is enacted by the state. Agriculture Produce Market Committee. This mainly manages the prices and all of the agriculture products also. Question. Which are the following brings out the consumer price index? First of all, what is consumer price index? It is an index which measures inflation for the consumer side. We have another index that is known as wholesale price index, and that is for the producer side. So these are the indexes which are used to check the inflation in the economy. So this consumer price index is published by NSO with the aim of knowing the inflation in the economy. It is published for various types like CPI for the industrial workers, CPI for the agriculture workers, CPI for urban people, CPI for the rural people. And the question is that who will bring out the consumer price index for the industrial workers? So the Labor Bureau will come out with this index. Convertibility of rupee implies, the first option is being able to convert rupee notes into gold. So convertibility of rupee, uh, the question is saying that it helps to uh, convert the rupee into gold. It is not this. Convertibility of rupee means that we can convert, let us say, rupee into dollars or dollar into rupee, or currency of exchange of any countries. So from the currency of US to India, India to China, China to India, vice versa to any other countries. So it is not about converting them to gold. This is not the correct option. Next is allowing the value of the rupee to be fixed by the market price. It is not about fixing the price. Next is freely permitting the conversion of rupee to any other currencies and vice versa. This is the correct one. Developing an international market for the currencies in India. It is not about the international market for any currency. This is also not correct. I hope you understand the questions well. Thank you for watching.